This is where we crashed. These are the survivors. We're all really extremely hungry right now. Probably going to start eating each other.
Stu's channel.
Yep, here we are. Let's take a look. This is my cowl. This is what it looks like now. Now I've done a little something to this already in preparation because I plan on pulling a George Miller on this. It probably won't be as nice as what George Miller pulls off, but this one is pretty trashed and it's pretty thin. It's very thin. So my objective here is to do what George taught me, but I'm going to deviate just a little bit. With this cowl, as I've discovered, I can use epoxy. And so what I'm going to do is I've already taken some CA and I've pinned back the areas that were ripped. For example, here was a rip. There was a rip over here. I mean, it was really tore up. It was ripped all over the place. This entire section, you can't even really tell, was ripped. And then on the other side, you can tell, but this was ripped up pretty bad as well. All the way across and ripped this way. I mean, ripped. Also ripped here. So I have CA'd this back together, so I have literally a shell that's functional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the fiberglass on the inside. I'm sure it's not going to be pretty either because there's some bumps and etc. inside there, as long as it fits. So I'm going to strengthen up the inside. I'm going to sand on the top on the outside, do a little primer, some putty in my sections. Sand that down until I'm satisfied. Do a little primer. Maybe sand a little bit more until it's about where I want it to go. And then I'll come to the paint job. I've got to kind of try to match. I have the gray, I have the yellow. I've got to go match this blue. So I'm going to look for that. There's the cowl. Let's go over to the other action. Ooh. Oh Lord. Yeah, all of the structural things inside I've already fixed. There were some little pieces here that were broken. One of them was over here. There's some back in here. There's spots where I had to create a splint. But other than that, all the other places that I have fixed are solid, and you really can't tell where I've done repairs. Up front here, somewhere in here as I look, it looks like repairs have been made on this before, but I could be wrong. Ah, yes. Look at what we have here. What a mess. How in the hell are you going to reconstruct that one? Actually, the outside of the box for the most part, except for here, which isn't really a great big deal. For the most part, the box is complete. It's pretty strong. What's going to happen is I'm going to have to fix this down here. You're wondering, well, how on earth, because there's fiberglass on top of here, there's a resin on top. I'm not going to be able to really sand that off because it's going to make this entirely too thin. So if I look underneath here, get it? Yeah. What I've got to be able to do under here is I'm going to take this guy probably off, probably somehow get this guy off, and then I'm going to match this piece of wood. I'm going to match this piece of wood all the way out to its farthest extent. I'm really not going to get caught up on this edge here. This edge isn't going to make a big deal. But as long as I've got this piece off, this whole piece extended, then this piece put back in, it'll be a little bit lower than it is now. And then, you know, fasten this on so that it's really on there. Create the slots on the end. And then I'll come back. I was hoping I was not going to have to rebuild this, but I am going to have to rebuild it. It's true. Oh, well, what are you doing? You know what I'm doing. You know exactly what I'm doing. Making one of these. So I am going to remove these and put them on here. That's going to be an interesting thing, but it shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be. So as long as everything lines up. And of course, here's how it goes. You remember I was missing some nubs? It's okay if they poke through the top. I can sand them off. But these will all poke through sides, etc. So my next piece I'm going to work on is for in here, and then I'm going to have to rasp some slots into it, which will be interesting. But it'll all work out. So here's where I am. Be back. Alright, welcome back to Stu's channel. I have cut out a piece. I've made this piece. So far I've made I made a replica of this, and I made a bottom replica here, and this is going to adhere to that portion there. I've also got another little cool thing that I'm going to do. You will never see, I mean, even if you were to open this plane up after I'm done, you'll never see that rip and tear looking thing. I've got an idea for it. So what this is E6000 industrial strength adhesive. It's kind of like a shoe goo formula. It's clear. This stuff is off the charts. Now granted, it's RC Country. $8.99 at RC Country, $9. But that stuff, I never used to trust this method until I built that 1 meter, and they suggested to use that rifle 1 meter. They suggested to use something like this shoe goo type. Well, since that point, I have discovered that this stuff is absolutely hardcore, and that's what I'm going to use to fasten this to the rest of this broken portion to make my box complete. And so far so good. I've got a great idea to cover this up. You'll never know that that's torn, but if you notice, I'm not going to tear the plane apart just to repair that piece there. I'm going to extend, and I'll beef up these two sides here, put the front in, and then put backings and front pieces on to support it into place. Alrighty, check it out. Nice. Yes, I actually rebuilt it. Oop. That's where those things disappear too. I see now. This stuff is, like I said, it's hardcore. It's like rubber cement, but it's industrial. So there's the motor mount bulkhead, and it fits nice, as you can see. So now it's time to put the braces on, which is what I'm in the middle of doing right now. And then, of course, I've got my motor mount bolt pattern already established, etc. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so here we are. Yeah, I know, isn't it great? Look at this. This is my mount for my motor. All done. Alright, let's take a look. So I've got the motor mounted, the nice little splash protector that's on there. All my electrical is done. Everything is all done, all connected, all good. Here are this is my cowl. I've sanded the areas that need to be fixed. Obviously the whole thing. Oh. And of course, these, my wheel pants. So that's where we are right now. See you in a bit.
Hope to see you back here on Stu's channel.